www.huskyradio.com. Under the scope every Wednesday night. We always have special guests. A little earlier, we just had a little interview with Joey C. We got Just Al in the fucking house. We got actually a full fucking house and shit. I can't even say all the names and shit. Right in front of me, we got Graffiti legend.
Yeah, talk about that. What we got right in front of you right now?
Graffiti legend Futur, KOG, LGF, Villains Crew.
Oh, is that him?
You know what's funny as shit? We have a lot of fucking artists that have been coming through and shit. Huskey Radio's been around for 7 years. For some reason, we put up the flyer about you ain't even on Facebook and shit. We put up your flyer and shit that you're gonna be here. I think we got more hype about you than any other artist that we've ever had and shit. We have motherfuckers saying you're gonna come in a mariachi outfit. Some motherfuckers saying you're gonna come in a tuxedo. Some motherfuckers thought you were gonna come in purple Mountain View shorts and a fucking a green mathematics shirt with math equations on that shit and chocolates and shit. Shit. So Futur and shit. When did you start writing? How did you get into graffiti?
I got into graffiti about 12 years ago. It's a little bit more complicated than most individuals would imagine, probably. I was exposed to San Fernando Valley graffiti and San Gabriel Valley graffiti because my aunt lived in San Fernando and Pacoima area, so I would travel back and forth. The graffiti that I got exposed to in the San Gabriel Valley, of course, was like Yukai Music, RUH, RFC, OSA, BFH, FRK, like a lot of stuff from Almani, Rosemead area. And as far as like the Valley stuff goes, STP, Tolls, those are the names that I remember, and a few other individuals, but I mean, it's been 12 years.
12 years, goddamn.
Yeah,
Shit.
I could have had like 3 kids or something.
So you're what? You were like 9 years old when you started doing graffiti, yeah?
7.5.
Nice.
Shit. So how did you get the name Futur?
I got the name Futur through my friend Scalp. For like the longest period, maybe 6 months, he was trying to find me a name. It was going to be Lady Gaga or Kanye West, but I decided to go with Futur.
Damn, that's what's up and shit. I thought you were gonna write Rez or Away.
Or Boludo.
Or Mocolino. Actually, we got bastard artists in the fucking house. We got VCR bastard artists and shit. And he actually wanted to present you with something and shit. That's how fucking popular this motherfucker is. Fools come all the way from San Fernando Valley.
Hopefully it's a hooker
to come present you with
another
some
one?
shit.
Big ass hooker.
And all these motherfuckers know bastardartist.com. Keep this shit out. This is a photo that VCR bastard artist had taken a picture of Futur in front of all his spray paint and shit. For all you motherfuckers that can see that shit. Hold that shit up real quick towards the camera and shit. Everybody peep that shit out. A little lower. Yeah, that's what's up and shit. And this is the first presentation we've ever had and shit.
Show and tell. It's not gonna stay with me.
How do you feel about
That was dope, dude. I mean,
Yeah, that's yours, man. For our friendship, graffiti, filming, fucking
yeah, no,
doing a
I
lot of
love
shit
it. I
at
love it. I
night.
mean,
That's all. That's.
do you want to talk a little bit about that photo shoot? I mean, honestly, like.
You were tuning on the Scope Wednesdays right here on HuskyRadio.com. Futur One right here live in the studio.
Word, man. This particular photograph was taken in 2007 and named Futur and His Babies. Little background about this. Futur stole shit, and you stole these cans to do returns for the cans, correct?
Yeah, every single can on there was not paid for.
Not paid for. So that's some notable shit, and it's like 1,300 or say, give or take.
More than that.
It was more than that at the time. And it took about a half hour for him to set it up. We got the shot. But we were kind of trying to get this together for a long time. And
I'm very grateful though. I mean, honestly, like that's a part of my life. I mean, stealing was a part of my life. Not because I wanted to be cool or I wanted to get the attention of what like hip hop culture is. No, it's definitely a part of my life. I mean, I've stole since I was little. And honestly, like I made a lot more money than I make now stealing, dude. And a lot of my friends will vouch. Like I would make $1,500 in a week stealing. I mean, fuck. 3-4 part-time jobs don't make that shit now, you know what I'm saying?
But
That's just the reality of it.
but that's just a part of the outlaw life.
I mean, I've heard this quote, and I've quoted it before. I mean, it's from a great friend of mine. It's like, do you want to be like Kobe? Do you want to be better? Do you want to be remembered, or why be average? And that's what Phoenix once told me. Like, Phoenix straight told me, like, yeah, dude, like, why are you so humble? Like, why are you trying so much? Like, just to be like everybody else? Like, really, why not push yourself to be better? I mean, yeah, I didn't do it to be cool. Trust me, I never did. I mean, if I did it to be cool, I wouldn't have the friends I have now. That's
Well, you were always different. You're always behind the scenes and shit. I remember, like, you were always real low pro about yourself and shit. You weren't one of those cats that would go out there and be like, yo, I'm Future. I'm from these crews and shit. What's up? I'm this guy and that guy and shit. You were always low pro, and you always kept your name silent and shit. We'd be around graffiti writers that would be talking hardcore like they were somebody, and they would be nobodies and shit. And you would still never, like, speak up and be like, oh, shit, I'm Future. What's up? Like, you never wanted that recognition. You always got that recognition in the streets. And you've always been a big influence on a lot of graffiti writers and shit. I mean, you started what? You said what, 97, 98?
Like 98, 99?
98. And ever since you started doing graffiti, you were always really tough on that shit. I remember at first it started real slow, and you were always doing fucking a lot of murals. You're doing a lot of characters, productions, backgrounds, pieces and shit. Then slowly you started getting into more tagging and bombing and illegals, and as the years went by and shit, you just wanted to fucking crush and shit. Well, what was the whole thing behind that and shit? Why did you pick illegals over everything else?
When you look at a time frame, for example, I mean, I started looking at graffiti like in 92, but I wasn't really aware of what it was. So when you look at 92 to 95 of my life, of course you had like GK, Ozzy, we had like all these big influences that wouldn't play a role to another 5 years of my life. You see what I'm saying? So then like when 96, 97, 98 came, it's when I saw like REM, VCK, LTS, MSK, like the big powerhouses, right, of illegal graffiti.
Yeah.
And I remember ever since I was like 12, 13 years old, I already knew my bus routes. Just like anybody else that grows up in the streets or with that mentality, like, I need to be in LA. I don't have a car when I'm 13. Who does,
Yeah.
It's irrelevant sometimes, maybe, whatever. But I remember the first time that I came across an airpiece. And it was like 97. I was very young, but after I saw that, that's what I wanted to do. Not saying that I wanted to be like that, but I knew that I wanted to be at that level at least, to know that I can create something that was my canvas, that you can't purchase anywhere else but see it one time or two times and then be like, how did he do it? And it took a long time. Even to this day, like, I feel I could have done more, and I didn't do it, maybe because of family issues or beliefs or just self-conscious, but trust me, I mean, it's that 98, 99 period that really changed my life. I mean, when you look at it in that, I mean, like back to the time frame. So then you go back, say to 2000 to 2002. I mean, I saw MTA, I saw CDP, I saw so many different crews, RTL, like crews that were doing a lot of things that were part of my generation, right? Our generation. Like, I cannot relate to anyone from 95 down or 97 down, but I definitely admire all that.
Yeah.
So from the 5-year gap that I became part of LA graffiti, right? Or at least contributed, I know that more. Now, I mean, I really don't know what's going on. And it's embarrassed to say it, but it's the truth. I mean, we all grew up, we all have socialized,
Yeah. And you had mentioned that Scalp was one of the major influences at that time that had got you into graffiti. How did you and Scalp link up?
He actually went to school with one of my sisters. So I know my sister was like, not bragging, but she was like, oh, my brother's like so young and he wants to learn graffiti. And he was older than me, so it was like, yeah, I can teach your brother. So he actually came over to the house and was like, who the fuck is this, Looks like a rapist.
And for a lot of cats that don't even know and shit, Scalp has been a major influence on a lot of cats from the San Gabriel Valley and shit. And you might not see his name up and shit. You might not hear about him because he was around for a short period of time and shit. But for that short period of time, he put a major impact on a lot of graffiti writers. He's helped out a lot of graffiti writers, and he didn't have to do that and shit. He spent days after school, every day, 5 days a week with some of these younger cats and shit, just showing them the ropes and shit. pretty much you gotta do fill-ins, you gotta do the outline, you gotta do the borders, you gotta do gloss and shit, you gotta be nice and neat. Just showing them every little thing that they gotta do and shit. Shit that you could have learned in art class as well and shit, perspectives and shit. And if anybody knows, you know that motherfucker was all about perspectives and shit.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about Scalp, graffiti-wise and shit? Like, this fool was the fucking man and shit. For people that don't know, and they probably can't even Google his name and shit because that shit won't come up. But this cat, 16 years old, painting with some of the UTIs and shit. And UTIs are fucking sick. And this fool was really keeping up with these motherfuckers. I don't want to say he was rocking shit harder, although I mean, he was dope. He was really dope. He was really hanging with them 16 years old and shit. Painting with Pryor, painting with Chi, painting with Miles, and I mean, Miles, everybody here at the studio knows him. You know, he's really sick and shit. Who were some of your other major influences as the years went on, as you got in KOG and LGF and Villains crew out there in Chicago?
I mean, as far as like me getting into KOG, like in 01, 02 era, obviously era, you gotta say that, right? But there was other people like Burial, like J-Rock, Clean. I mean, so many people in that crew. And so many other people in the streets. Like, for me to be honest, REM was such a big influence on me. Even though people might not even remember what REM was.
I remember REM.
But it's like raps, like, you know, Sake, Burn, Tag. Like, those people to me were like such a big influence. Like BCK, you go back to where like Yellow Drum, like these people were doing. You even go back to a lot of crews in that era that to me were like just disciplined well to do a well performance. You know, to do the whole illegal aspect. I mean, when you look at it in the illegal concept, I mean, there's like trains, there's buses, there's streets. I mean, but what fascinated me were these crews that were just doing full-on color. I was like, what the fuck? How do they do it? Like, how can you do it?
Yeah.
You know, that's just the.
And they were doing the bridges, they were doing the heavens.
Yeah.
And they weren't just doing little throw-ups or little tags or little black and white bubbles and shit or some fucking block letters. They were doing full-on pieces. For instance, and shit, you got your partner Rask and shit.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker was doing 3D pieces on fucking bridges and shit. Killing shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Who were some of your partners and shit?
Oh man, I got privileged to be with a lot of people that I've always wanted to paint with. And those people that I got privileged to paint with are my friends, you know?
Yeah.
Yourself, you look at Moon, you look at Korea, you look at Miko, you look at Rask, you look at Mute, you look at Zest, you look at Clean. I mean, my list can go on and on. Like I've been part of Luxor, Bart's. I mean, I've been part of Omens. I've been part of everyone's life for at least a minute or two. But it's a part of something special, you know. Like you got to take that into concrete fact.
Yeah.
Like for me to share something, a moment, a piece with someone is because I trust you.
Yeah.
And I got trust issues like everybody else knows.
I mean, anybody in graffiti and shit will tell you the same thing and shit. I mean, mainly you gotta paint with cats that you trust because you're out there risking shit, you know what I mean? You gotta have, I know you're watching people's backs, but you gotta make sure someone's watching your back. You don't wanna go out there with some fucking knucklehead that get you popped and busted.
Time to analyze and to understand certain things so I can relate out of respect. You see, that's the big key in my life, respect. And I see the people producing music every day and I see them work so hard. And I hear about all this hard work and I'm like, fuck, like, I'm grateful to be in my position in life.
Yeah. Do you think there's a lot of respect in the graffiti scene still, man? Back in the day, I used to see, you would notice there was a lot of respect as far as where artists would hit up and some of the spots they caught. Now it's like, you know, someone will fucking squiggle a name over a piece. It's like the respect isn't there no more.
Yeah, you lose a lot of respect for a lot of things. I mean, I was never brought up that way, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I left a lot of things. I mean, there were so many times that I ran into a tag that was a 92 or a 94 tag. And I made sure I didn't get anything close to that because I wanted that tag to remain. I remember we climbed this bridge with Rask, and down the street there was like a mirror tag. I kid you fucking not, like 89 and 91 or some shit like that. And I remember telling him, I was like, dude, make sure when we bounce from here, like, let's not catch anything that's gonna get that buff. That's historical. You see what I'm saying? That's something that, if it's still living now, it's 20-something years plus. That's part of what a generation of artifacts, you know? You gotta look at it that way. If you can't preserve that, then you're a fucking knucklehead. Like, you don't know anything. Like, it's just, there's so much great art in the world. And it's like Banksy, for example, and I'll go that route. Like, people are trying to, like, carve out his shit and sell it. Like, you really don't understand the concept of it, then, if you're trying to make money off someone that you're not.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about the difference between street art and graffiti art?
I like street art, dude. I'm not even gonna sit here in front that I don't like it. I mean, I like the controversy behind it. Okay, without controversy, you wouldn't have a radio show, you wouldn't have a TV show, you wouldn't have a magazine. That's how it works with life. People don't want to hear gossip, what you think or you don't think. I mean, when you have these interviews with, like, politicians, they want to hear controversy. The audience wants to hear controversy. The moment controversy hits, fuck, dude, the next morning, like, TMZ has everything on blast.
Yeah.
And that's what life is, controversy. Without it, you look back at the Roman Empire, you look at everything in Greece, whatever they did was all fucking political status and controversy. That's basically what life falls under, you know?
Yeah. Can we see any future art shows or future productions by Future in the future? Because I know that 98, 99, 2000, 2001, up until about 2005, you were really doing it hard. And I know you kind of said a few times, I caught you saying that you're going to stop doing graffiti and shit. And I always catch a couple illegals here and there and shit, whether I get it through a text from somebody driving by that shit, whether I see that shit online. So are we going to see any future illegals, productions, art shows?
Expect the unexpected, right? But as far as art goes, I'm going to learn how to paint in oils and acrylics, dude. They're good friends, so there might be some artwork, you know.
Who's teaching you about acrylics and shit?
Korea.
Yeah. And he's doing it right now and shit. I've seen some of his shit online and shit, some of his art shows, and he's really fucking talented, and I wish more people saw that shit, because I know the art scene's crazy and you really have to get a name out there for yourself before, you know, you can really start selling, really start making money, really start getting really noticed. And this is one of the cats that blows away a lot of motherfuckers and shit. Really, really talented. So look out for Korean shit. Check out his art shows. Really go support this cat, because really humble, cool cat that I've known for years, and he's doing it and shit. And his shit is really fucking dope and shit.
Yeah.
Who are some of the shout outs you want to give out to and shit? Go and shoot your family, your crews and shit, all your homies and
First
shit.
off, and Huskey Radio, of course, the entire family, everyone that's part of Huskey Radio and really breathes and cries Huskey Radio. My crews, of course, WKO, GLJ, Villains. If I gave a list of all the names, it would be a lot of fucking people, dude. Cole's crew, of course, but I would need help with all the people in the crews. You know, we'll go with LGF first. I mean, Phoenix, Moon, Recio, Bart, Miko. You gotta help me out. You can give me everybody.
Best away.
Name them all, because that's really what everybody, you know.
I don't want to leave anybody out.
Love goes further.
Let me ask you this, man. If you could, one message to upcoming writers or even graffiti artists that think they're putting in work right now, if you could send them one message or you could tell them one thing about anything in the culture of graffiti, what's one thing you'd want to tell them directly, man?
Are you sure? No. Are you really sure you can do it? Like, are you really sure you could be that person to really motivate everybody else or to put a standard? If you're not going to be that person, it's just not for you. It's kind of when you walk into a job interview and you're not qualified. Fucking admit it, you're not qualified. You're not going to get the fucking job, right? So walk out. Really, like, if you're not qualified, you're not willing to risk everything and do everything you want to do for whatever you want to do, then don't apply. You know? So don't
And
apply.
a lot of cats, I mean, they see graffiti, they think that shit looks dope, they want to do it, they want to be cool, they want to get chicks and shit. But what they don't know is that there's a lot of fucking shit that goes on before that piece even goes up on the fucking wall. Whether you're doing it illegal, you don't want to buy your fucking paint, we're all broke and shit, we're all kids just fucking living grime and shit, so you gotta rap, you gotta do different things. We were printing up fucking, labels and shit, 89-cent cans and shit. We're fucking racking mad shit, returning that shit, and getting mad cans. Future, you did a fucking, what do you guys call it, the shopping cart and
I
shit?
used to love walking out with shopping
Running
carts.
out of a fucking Home Depot with the shopping cart of fucking spray
See,
paint.
that's what's missing in hip hop today, dog.
Me running out of records?
No, I'm talking about like now graffiti scene, man. Cats don't understand that concept. They don't understand that. And a lot of them now, their parents think, oh, it's cool, you're doing something artistic. I'm gonna buy you all your cans. And I'm gonna do this for you. And you know, it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's like Phoenix said earlier, man. It was a process. You went, you scoped the spot out. You went, you got your cans, you racked your cans. You went, you rocked the spot. It's like it's a procedure. It's like with DJs buying vinyl.
Yeah.
You go to a record shop. You dig through the vinyl. You select your records. They let you listen to the record. You listen to the record. I want that record. You buy that record. You go and you rock the set with that record.
Yeah.
It's a fucking process. And I think nowadays there's like a big process, not just in buying records, but even in the graffiti scene. I mean, it's just a lot of shit. They miss that whole fucking thing. So a lot of kids are kind of spoiled nowadays, I would like to say.
Well, they say that most Americans just don't even proofread. In other words, like you look at an article and you just bullshit it. You read the first sentence, you skip down 3, and that's what you're doing in life. If you do that fucking mentality in life, fuck yourself. I'm being honest with you right now. Go fuck yourself because you can't skip steps. It doesn't matter if you're fucking Beethoven and you're fucking that great at the piano. You really need the fucking basics. I hate to be so fucking, a dickhead about it, but that's just true. Like, you have to learn the basic concepts to be good. I mean, it's for photography, for example. You learn the basics. Yeah, the basics. And then you get better, and then you know the f-stops, the shutter speeds, etc., right? That's how life is. If you don't know yourself, I hate this fucking shit. People say, life is about finding yourself. Really? I thought life is about creating yourself.
Nice.
The moment you can create yourself, you have a better idea of the persona you're gonna be or you were. So you gotta come like that. If you don't, then you're just a fucking another human being that doesn't know shit about life, I'm not trying to go into some philosophy, but at the same time, you gotta know where you stand, where you're good at, where you're not, and where you're going. That's just life.
I like Graffiti Future better than regular Future, dog, because regular Future's always drunk and just talking like crazy shit. Right now, Graffiti Future is the shit, dog. I know a whole other side of Future, dog. I'm like, damn, this was the same cat we got all fucked up for like 2 weeks ago, dog.
I party hard, bro. It's so embarrassing.
What was one of your craziest experiences? I mean, going into hoods and shit, gangs, cops. I mean, getting chased and shit. And you were that motherfucker that didn't give a fuck. So you go right into fucking Compton, right in fucking main streets, right next to projects and shit. You'd be like, let's hit the spot. I'd be like, fuck that, I'm out of here.
No, I care. I mean,
what was some of the craziest experiences that you've had?
I had a really cool experience on Western once, actually. I was painting a rooftop, and of course, if you know that area, it's very populated by prostitution, which prostitution fucking bills for over $7 million a year, or billions around the world, dude, for those people that don't know that. But, I mean, I was painting this fucking spot, hookers are like saying all kinds of random shit, and I see this fucking car, full on speed, onto the Bank of America, dude. 2 guys, drunk as fuck, go and try to steal a bank at fucking 2 in the morning, bro. Are you fucking serious, dude? You fucking buffoon, dude. And I'm like, I'm standing there, cops get there, I get off, they ask me and they harass me, I'm like, I don't know what happened, I'm waiting for the fucking bus. Like, I mean, you serious? You're trying to fucking rob a bank at 2 in the morning? They lock everything out, you fucking idiots. Like,
you sure it wasn't your lookouts?
Damn, touche.
We're gonna, before we get out of this interview and shit, once again, Future, KOG, LGF, Villains Crew, right here on www.huskyradio.com, every Wednesday night under the scope. Go ahead and give your shout out, say peace out.
Fuck, dude, so many people, I feel so fucking bad if I leave anybody out, dude, but I do want to give out, I guess I can do some crews, dude, the ones that were definitely a big influence in my life. Like Cray 4 P, definitely a fucking idol of mine. Zaz, Rask, fuck, dude. I know I gave shout outs already earlier on, dude, but Quite a Dying Breed, RB, Guys,
Dying Breed,
Moon, fucking Lux. Dude, there's so many. I feel such a fucking douchebag, dude. I mean, no, it's not, because a lot of people have played a big role in my life. You gotta understand that, like, I'm the one person that gives a lot of respect, you know what I'm saying, to what I feel. A lot of people feel like, oh, this is cool, this is not cool. The truth is that you know what has made you and what has not made you.
Yeah.
And I hate to go out like this without me giving credit to everyone that I should,
Yeah. Well, you got a lot of viewers right now, too, a lot of people in the chat room. I also want to give big ups to Insu. He's been tuning in and shit. Old homie from back in the days. Original LGF cat. Funky Monkeys, Cola Crew. So once again, what's up, Insu, for tuning in and shit. We appreciate that shit. And Future, we appreciate you coming through.